Maxine suffers crazy meltdown with her hammer over not getting her way. Your Heads First by Frank Lee for RWNofficial.com. Maxine Waters came out of nowhere with an absolutely frightening incident that involved her and what she wanted to do with a hammer. People were caught off guard, and some may have been terrified for what she said, as her violent outburst was completely unacceptable, especially considering where she was and what she was doing. This type of behavior is what helps her critics label her as one of the most unacceptable congresswomen and partially contribute to the nickname Mad Maxine, or Mad Max. I call her Mad Maxine. It all started when the Democratic California Congresswoman was talking about diversity in technology. She was acting like she was surprised that so many tech companies didn't have a high number of black employees. That to her was appalling, and she now wants to enact some sort of regulation that would effectively force companies to hire based on the color of their skin. At one point, American companies were discriminating against people. Now they might be forced to hire certain people if they lack the skills required for the job. Maxine Waters' associates called the enforcer, and it seems like Waters tried to take that seriously and literally say that she was about to hit some people across the head with a hammer. If Donald Trump said that, then the internet would be ablaze with social commentary and people throwing so many bad remarks at him. If Maxine Waters says it, then it seems like people throw it under the rug because she's a black woman, and people fear being called a racist if they criticize a woman who is threatening to potentially injure someone in a horrible way. Verbal joke or not, she shouldn't be promoting aggressive actions when her fellow Democrats constantly speak so much against that type of behavior. They also criticize President Trump for even the slightest comment he makes, but then they ignore it when someone like Maxine Waters makes horrible comments like this one with a hammer. Recode covered the incident and provided these details. Leading black lawmakers are growing impatient with tech's largely unfulfilled promises to improve employee diversity. Representative Maxine Waters of California made the strongest case for regulation during a panel discussion with other members of the Congressional Black Caucus on the last day of their trip to Silicon Valley. She said she was floored to find out that many tech companies had only 1% to 2% black employees. I'm talking about some regulations, said Waters, who was jokingly referred to by her fellow CBC members on their trip to Silicon Valley as the enforcer. Quote, I'm talking about using the power that our votes have given us to produce legislation and to talk about regulation in these industries that have not been talked about before, she said. She later added, I'm not urging, I'm not encouraging, I'm about to hit some people across the head with a hammer. Other members of Congress on the trip, Representative G.K. Butterfield and Barbara Lee and George Meeks also shared their frustration with the lack of improvement they've been seeing since the Congressional Black Caucus started a task force to improve diversity in tech back in 2015. Their public talk Tuesday at TIF's headquarters concluded the CBC's third trip to Silicon Valley, which included private discussions with execs like Tim Cook and Jack Dorsey at Apple, Twitter, PayPal, and Square. Waters is poised to become the chair of the House Financial Services Committee if Democrats win control of the House in the upcoming midterm elections. As a potential chair of the influential committee and a leader in passing Dodd-Frank, she could be well placed to enact regulatory action on tech. When asked what regulatory proposals specifically they were considering, the group discussed expanding the Community Reinvestment Act, which makes sure financial institutions help meet the needs of low-income communities they operate in, to include tech improving requirements around companies, EEO-1 diversity, reporting and negotiating partnerships with tech companies and underserved school districts to improve education for Black students. The truth about diversity in the workplace is that lawmakers should not be able to force companies to hire certain people if they don't meet the skills and requirements. The law should not force people to go into jobs that they may not like. Lawmakers must also consider that some people may not want particular jobs in technology, or they may not have the skills to allow them to apply. One major problem with Maxine Waters in her argument is that she was speaking with the Congressional Black Caucus about diversity, but there are no whites, Asians, or Latino people in the Congressional Black Caucus. So where is the diversity for that? Maxine Waters can't talk about diversity when she's part of a black-only caucus. That doesn't make any sense at all, right? One cannot fight for diversity when they are part of a group that is not diverse. How about if we had an all-white community caucus? I mean, really? You know, the uproar, right? Anyway, moving right along, technology is filled with diversity, and it doesn't seem like the Democrats did a very good job at looking around to notice it. There are literally millions of people from different cultures who are immersed in technology. Is Maxine Waters losing her mind? Yeah. Does she know anything about technology? No. Should she be investigated for saying threatening comments like this? I don't think she should be investigated. I think she should be taken to the loony bin. That's what I think. It's not for arrest. Get her. She's a wackadoo. Do you see diversity everywhere you go? Basically, yeah, I guess so. Share this with your friends who would enjoy reading about Maxine Waters and her threat to hit people in the head with a hammer. And don't forget to post your comments below. Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable. There she is. You know, you can't. I just can't with that woman. She's nasty, though. She is really a nasty one. I mean, we may laugh all we like, but she is really a nasty woman. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.